I would like to welcome everyone to the 33rd episode of Money Trees. I am blessed to be here with one of the illest creators, musicians, world builders, and as they say, humans with opinions in the space. Today's guest is paving the way on Tezos, one of the most accessible blockchains around. Jburn is in the virtual building. Garden? Virtual garden. Jburn is here today. How are you doing today, G?
Yo, what's up? Thanks for having me. Um, just smoked a bowl. Yeah.
Oh, fire. It's crazy. So I heard you say I was throwing on some of the classics. I don't know how many people in the Web3 space or how like doxed or not doxed you are, but I won't give it away on here. But you know that your real name is quite available on the Web2 platforms.
Oh yeah, it's super available. I don't really care. I mean, there's nothing to hide. Especially, I mean, as an artist, like people want to be able to connect with the artist. So like, yeah, you could find me really easily.
Nah, yeah, that
Yeah.
wasn't that wasn't anything crazy. I was just looking at it. I'm like, oh, okay. 'Cause it's funny, like when you're using Spotify and you have to make the playlist. And this is so weird to me that Spotify doesn't actually let you. Just another broken kind of piece of it. But you can't create playlist from your artist profile. Like you have to create it from your public Spotify profile and then put that on your artist page. Very strange. Anyway, not here to talk about that. Man, I love your joints, bro, and it's fire because a lot of them they leave you wanting more. And so I want to start there, where especially just even on that Spotify playlist, you have a lot of 1 minute records. What led you to just kind of snapping on a beat for under 90 seconds and then moving on to the next?
So when I started doing more Web3 work and I started creating, with the intention of making NFTs, I kind of just said, you know what? I want to shorten the song, and especially being an underrated underdog style of artist, like underground as fuck, just down, down, down. I wanted to, I just wanted to give them short, sweet, little snippets of what I can do and, what I like. So yeah, it's calculated for sure. It also is to like leave them wanting more. Um, and actually, yeah, we're at about like 2 minute songs now. Just because I feel like that's about where we're at now. Increasing it for the people, giving them a little more. They've given me a little bit. I want to give a little more back. So we're at about 2 minutes now, on average for song. But yeah, 1 minute songs. People have short attention spans, so I wanted to give them something short and sweet. I try to keep the intro as short as possible. Might let an outro go just because dessert's nice. So yeah, 1 minute
Dessert
song.
is nice.
And one more thing about it is that like they're not specifically like your traditional music songs. Like it is NFT music. Like it's a it I'm kind of blurring lines and creating new genres and just trying to step out of the norm that like for me was never working. So yeah, create something that does work for me.
It hits, G. And that intention that you have there, I think makes a lot of sense because when you're crafting, I always talk about this where it's like it's tough when you want music to be your business because there's a difference between making music and the actual music business. So you're approaching it in a way that allows you to still express yourself, but catering to the business end of it and now this Web3 side of it. Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to monetize it, it is still a business no matter which way you slice it. I wanted to also kind of talk about. So I've seen you come highly recommended in the space where so many people that I talk to or that I've come across have spoken on your talent and just your passion for creators and your passion for making NFT music and being even I don't even want to limit you in that sense of say like, oh, it's just NFT music, but just being a creator in this Web3 NFT space. Can you talk about how you got started, or at least what drew you to Web3?
Oh man, what drew me to Web3? I mean, I've always been trying to, make some money, chase that independent like wealth and at least security. And so I guess probably Doge. I don't know. I saw something about Doge, got in there a little early, and that was like my first dive into DeFi or whatever. And how did I stumble upon NFTs? I don't even know, but I ended up here. I started on ETH when ETH. I mean, gas is pretty cheap right now. Let's be honest. When gas was, as cheap as this or cheaper, I had a little project called Nervous Ghost. So it was a little 100-piece project. I was able to sell it out, and I learned a lot about that. But I mean, it wasn't really my passion or anything, and I didn't really like. I charged nothing, and people were able to make some money off of it, so it was cool. But then I found Tezos because people were like, "Yo, hop on Tezos, like I can send you things," like, and I was like, "Whoa, you can airdrop?" Because I had wasted a lot of money airdropping things on ETH. So like Tezos came out, got a Tezer, dropped some music on Tezos, and from there, I mean that was 6 months ago. It's been just music on Tezos is my jam. That's what I create, and I'm a Tezos guy for sure. But I'm back on ETH, so Soul's cool too.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw you talking about that in your vibes in alpha. What were you saying? Access to the vibes in alpha chat that you rock with ETH and Tez, but Soul gets some love every now and again.
Yeah,
I
every
gotta
now
be.
and then. Obviously, I'm looking at ETH to make some money, some like good, quick, easy money. To be honest, or just a long term, like nice return. And then Tezos is just my love, man. I just buy everything on there. And then Solana, if I ever mint on there, shout out Jamie for minting on there, paving the way for music artists. If I ever mint on there and get a sale or two, I'll probably end up just spending it back in the ecosystem because they have a lot of cool one of ones.
Yo, so when it comes to Tez, I'm not very well versed. Definitely my first real major exposure from the music side has been diving into your objects page and really spending some time just seeing like, okay, like how does this work? I've seen again bits and pieces, but you are completely enthralled in the world. So I didn't really. So you can do airdrops for free on Tez? Is that what you were saying?
Well, no, not free, but the gas is like just super cheap,
Okay,
super
yeah, yeah.
affordable.
Fair. Same thing with like Solana with the transactions.
Yeah,
Um,
with Soul and some of those other ones. Yeah, it's beautiful. It gives a creator like a new route to like do fun things for his collectors or their collectors.
where are you based out of, like city wise?
I'm in South Florida, it, on the Treasure Coast in a crappy retirement community. Nothing against the community. It's just like not the place for um, a young black artist. It's more the place for like an old retired person.
Now I get that. This is actually the first ever Money Trees being recorded outside of Brooklyn, and we are in South Florida. But I don't know where the Treasure Coast is. I'm like near Miami. But my question about your location stems from when I'm in New York. It's really hard for me to get Tez, and I have to buy ETH and then convert. I have to like send it to a wallet, and then they convert it to Tez for me. Um, how easy is it for you to get Tez where you're at?
It's super easy. I just buy it off of Coinbase. Yeah, New York. So New York and Tezos for some reason are like not cool. And that is like, man, there are so many NFT collectors in New York. And that's a huge like drawback. Yeah, man, if you ever need Tez, just let me know. I mean, if anybody needs Tez, let me know. I could help as much as possible. Like, let's not let New York stop people from from having Tezos because it's a great environment over there. Super community driven and like it's pretty tight knit for being a relatively large, community.
And see, that was where my mind was going with it. Like hearing you talk about it, my next question was like, how would an artist or a collector really get started in there? And then I started thinking like, oh damn, let me go try it out. And it's been a pain because I've tried probably three different instances to collect projects on Tez. And if I wasn't as into crypto as I am, I would have definitely given up. Where it's like, oh, at this step, this is entirely too much. So it's just interesting trying to figure out what are the ways for the collectors to be building on there. You mentioned how gas is low. I really think that ETH is. I'm very excited for the merge and what they're talking about and what that will do to the gas prices here, just because of how large the ecosystem is there. Are you at all worried about what will happen once ETH's transaction costs drop dramatically?
No, not at all, because like the best artists in the crypto space are on Tezos. Like just bluntly and honestly, like the best artists are on there. And they're making their money too, especially the top dogs. They make like solid money on their drops. They don't have to promote them. Like it's just everybody's ready for it. Um I don't think that'll change. Even with like low gas, like I left ETH because of gas prices. When gas prices are at 5 Gwei, I'm not gonna be on ETH more than I am Tezos. Like if anything, it'll just be much easier to be on ETH for those collectors, and that will be occasionally. And yeah, since ETH is pricier, it'll just be a more exclusive collection.
No, I love that. It's funny. I had noted in my announcement tweet for you that I would add philosopher to one of your many disciplines because I think that you have
That
some
was
really,
honored.
really
Thank
ill.
you.
Yo, no, you say some profound shit, man. Like I love it. There was one that I had actually starred from a couple of days back, and it was standards and norms kind of scare me. As a collector, I usually follow them for a safe bet, but as a creator, I completely ignore them and do what I want. And that to me
Oh
is such
yeah.
an yeah, that's such an ill ethos to operate in the space where again you understand the business side of it, but you don't allow that type of what do you want to say? Those types of norms or like the what will traditionally make money to control what it is that you create.
Well,
So
it doesn't make sense to me to like try to bring in traditional norms to such a non-traditional marketplace and space where like creativity and innovation thrive. Like nobody wants to see something they've seen before. Even if it's just really simple, like they just want something different. Even repackaging something could be helpful, but like, yeah, in this space, it's just obviously you could join the hype and like I said, that's a safe bet. Like, especially if you're pre-hype, that's safe as it gets. But you can't really chase a wave. And again, innovation and just like creativity are the way. Like that and collaboration. Collaboration is a necessity in the space, in my opinion, and a lot of people are slacking on it. And they'll honestly, I've seen some people give up before they work with somebody else, which is crazy.
man, I want to get to the collab piece. I had one question on your standards and norm post. What do you think, or which project or song have you created since you've been in this space that was the furthest away from what you would consider standards? What? Oh man, excuse me, because I want to word this properly. Where it's like when you look at this particular piece, what are you most proud of that's completely unlike anything you've seen before?
Hmm. So I have two different like kind of thoughts on that one and choices. When I created the song Abundance, that's where I kind of had that moment of like, oh, this is like Web3 music. I worked with a couple of people to create an overall piece that really stood out to me and really like it was just a good mix of visual art and a great sound. And I was like, oh, this is like the Tezos standard right now.
Yo,
um,
that's fire. Not to cut you off, but that's fire because when I went to your playlist and I was like, okay, let me figure out which songs we're gonna lead in with. It started with Abundance, and I'm like, oh nah, he's already curated the playlist the way it needs to flow. I'm not touching this. We're just letting it rock.
yeah, and so like that was one of the first songs that I had made recently for the space. And that one I threw in a little extra love, a little intention that everybody who listens to the song owns the song. It is at all in touch or hears the song like abundance coming their way. So that one I do love. And yeah, it's a one of one on my page, but there's actually 30 editions on my buddy Articude's page, and he's a fantastic artist. That started my collab wave, so yeah, mad love to him. And then the micro album that was crazy. um, to be honest, like I downplayed it, like while building it up, like simultaneously. And yeah, just it did really well. It really it stood out. I did what, 10 songs that were all like a minute, maybe 2 minutes at most. Almost like interlude type songs. Like I just mashed them together with 9 different visual artists, fantastic artists in the space. And yeah, we sold what, 76 like editions at 10 Tez over the course of like 3 or 4 days. And we were,
Absolutely fire.
yeah.
So I was hoping that that was gonna be one because when I saw it, I was just like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
This is the
it
type
was.
of innovation where it's like, it. Yeah, well, my fault. Keep going. I don't want
No,
to.
it was wild. Like, I mean, the whole time I was doing it, I was like, fuck. Like, we just kept going. Cause at first it was just like, all right, I'm gonna throw together these 10 songs. You know, they're like a minute long, maybe 2 minutes long. So like it's no biggie. I'll throw together 10 songs, hit up my boy Grant Four, who does like most of my beats. You know, snagged a bunch. And then I'm like, okay, now I need like 10 collabs. So I put together like 9 or 10 collabs, and I'm like, you guys got 3 weeks. Can you do it? Luckily, they were able to do it. And then, yeah, I was just fucking around. I'm like, you know what? There's going to be a micro concert. And people were like liking it and retweeting it. And I was like, oh, fuck, I got to throw together a micro concert. So I hit up Jamie. Well, I hit up the group chat, and thank goodness, yeah, Jamie was down. I got Carissa and some other people to perform. So I made a whole event of it, like the micro album, which, I mean, even the artwork, the little poster for it was super fantastic. How
Poster
the
fire, music fire, visuals
how
fire.
the
Keep
dude's
going.
holding the album, and it's like super small to him, but you know, when you look at the poster, there's literally people climbing up him, and like the album's the size of them. So like this little thing to him is still so big to like the average person. It was, yeah, it was crazy. It was super fun too.
It
Nerve
was
wracking but
really,
fun.
really well, at least as a consumer. So I'll say this, I came about post rollout with getting to experience it, but I didn't feel like I missed anything. And it's like, I was able to look back and see a lot of the conversation around it, but from the art perspective, I still felt like I was completely able to enjoy it and see what it was about. And it reminded me from like an innovative piece of when Tierra Whack did Whack World, and I saw her Instagram for the first time, and I was like, oh shit, this is something that other people are gonna wish they did, but it was done so right the first time, it's going to be extremely difficult to replicate.
I think people could replicate it. I'd like to replicate it with a collective collaborative mixtape on Tezos, which I think a lot of people are interested in. So hopefully we can get that in the works, and I think that could be pretty big for Tezos. Just another super hot, you know, hip hop album or mixtape or just collection.
Yo, wait a second. So, the whole idea with money trees is planting some seeds. If it's not too much alpha, can you talk about what this vision is for the follow up?
Um, I mean, a lot of us, like, we want to create a community on Tezos for music. Even the people at Object, I'm sure they want to create a community that can foster musicians as well. Because we do believe that, you know, music is art. It's not just entertainment to be consumed. I mean, it can be, but at the same time, yeah, we put our hearts and souls into these things. So yeah, I mean, we're just slowly collecting all the musician or all the hip hop artists on Tezos that we can find, trying to onboard a few, and yeah, get some artists together and just I, I'm not pushing it too hard because again, I don't want to be like completely in control of this. I'd rather see some more effort just from people who want to push this because I'm ready to go, but like it's tough. I mean, it's tough on Tezos. So one thing about Tezos is like the place to start for collectors and creators is the same place. Like you should start collecting. You shouldn't start collecting randomly. You should join a community. There are fantastic communities out there, like Paper Buddha's community. We call it the Temple. You got monsters, gems, just object.com's Discord, like Tezos Discord. There's a few of them, and they'll lead you in the right direction. You gotta build those relationships. You don't specifically have to spend money, but you do have to connect. I've connected with hundreds, and I mean literally like maybe almost 1,000 artists at this point. I've just been like meeting them, whether it's in real life or online, and just low key. I'm a heavy collector. Tezos made it super easy, so um, I usually do actually just purchase and collect, but that's just because a lot of people will be like 5 Tez or less, and what that's like $15. It's like not even $20, so I'm about it all day. I'm about truly supporting, putting a little couple coins in your pocket.
Yeah, G, and that's it's crazy because that's the consensus just from I'll say the word on the grapevine. I really don't know what the term grapevine means. I'm gonna look that up after this episode. I'm not gonna go on a tangent. I've been doing well with not tangents.
Yeah, I'm
But yes,
interested in
it's
these grapes now. We just all walk up and we can just get some grapes from that vine, yo.
I
Uh,
love the way that you reach out and work with so many people in the space and you actually foster a community. I definitely want to talk about your Discord and your opinion there, but before we jump to that, how and this is like a very a hotly debated topic, right? Where we're starting to see a lot more quote unquote web 2 artists come into the space. For someone like you that's so big on collaboration and lending your creative and really social clout just for the sake of art, where's your stance on web 2 artists getting into the space currently lie?
I just think they have to do it like correctly. If you're a Web 2 artist and you want to enter the space, I mean, I think you need to enter the space. Don't come in trying to sell something. Don't come in like trying to wave, some I mean, you if you got skills, you got skills, but still you do have to foster those connections. You don't want to come in like an ass and just be like, boom, here I am, you're welcome. Like you got to come in like build your communities, and like there's micro and macro communities, big and small communities. Like I do have a bunch of connections and a bunch of people that I mean I personally just love so many of these art, like even the artists in the crowd right now, like some of my favorite artists right now. So I mean, you gotta again, it's connections. Like networks are strong when they have connections. And the thing about Tezos is like it's still super decentralized. It's not clicky at all. Like it's still super like independent, and the connections aren't necessarily like, written down somewhere unless people are in a Discord. Like it's a wild place over there. But I'm bullish as fuck.
I love that. Would you be open to collabing with Web 2 artists? Do you think that that's something where it's like somebody reaches out to you and they're like, yo, see what you're doing in the space? Can
It's
we
gonna
do a
be
track
someone
together?
who's like trying to charge like $500 for a feature and be like, "Yo, will you do a collab with me?" Like, you don't even have any collectors yet. You're gonna convert all your Web 2 fans? Like, I mean, yeah, I'm about it, but again, they need to like establish themselves in the community. I definitely recommend if you got like $100 or less. I mean, you don't even need nearly that much, but like, shit, $30 on Tezos could get you a nice little stack of gifs and JPEGs and even songs. And like, yo, join the Discord. I give away objects all the time just because I'll snipe 2 or 3 of them, and yeah, I enjoy doing it. So just be like, boom, who wants this?
Yeah, for me, I think because I navigate the Web 2 and Web 3 world just on a daily, that's been the same sentiment that I relay to the artists that I talk with, where it's not about you just coming in and like, oh, now I'm selling NFTs. Like, you have to have a real why. There has to be
Yeah,
a
if you're
purpose and a
super
reasoning for what you're
clouded,
doing.
like if you're super clouded or you have a really deep connection, a strong connection with your core supporters, and you can bring them in and onboard them and get them into Web3 and like have them be your main core supporters again, like starting off, I mean, you might be able to do something wild, but like it's, yeah, unless you're clouded up. And even then, like everyone's so suspicious of like, look how long Snoop was fucking around in the space, like publicly and unknown, before he really started dropping things like
And that's important. He found, found what worked, what didn't. There were definitely some misses and quite a few hits along the way. And that's along with like bringing over your own fans, it's like, what's the story that you're telling? Web3 is serving as a way, and especially music NFTs, for artists that previously were unheard and unsupported to find ways to, support themselves both financially and creatively, to connect with people that they were previously unable to reach or that were unable to hear their music, or to find collectors that would support them and allow them to actually make a career off of their music. You look at all the success stories in here, everybody has an actual story. It's not like, oh, I just make music and put it out as an NFT and so that's a thing. And there are artists that will come, and I will name drop at least one here that I think was one of the most trash drops I've seen in the space. But the Tory Lanez release to
hey, I
me was
felt
like,
it.
yo, that shit was horrible. And I was like, I would tell them though, like for real, like that wouldn't be anything. This is recorded, this is fine. I don't, there's other issues that he has going on outside of Web3, but just the approach to the space felt like a cash grab. And yeah,
Wasn't it?
well, it was, yeah. Like I said, it was a
Like
cash grab. It
these
didn't feel
artists
like.
come in and they drop NFTs that aren't even on a blockchain, like, and they
Literally, that's what I said. I'm like, where are you reselling this $1 NFT for 40,000? Who's flipping this?
and
Why
there's
is
no
it only the
marketplace
flip?
to resell the NFTs. Like it's crazy.
So I will use one example. I was talking to the guys over at Crush Music, and they manage some really really big like pop and rock names. And I don't know how much this has penetrated the communities, but Sia is actually a really big collector, and she was collect. Or they were collecting under a pseudonym where you did not know that it was actually them, and had
That's
a
how you do it,
multi-million
right?
dollar collection and had been supporting tons of artists in the space without leveraging their own brand for attention or anything. And so by the time they were finally ready to put out a collection, it was like, hey, I've been here for, I'm pretty sure it was years, or at least multiple months. I don't want to misquote that, but it was for a substantial amount of time where they were able to amass this collection with quite a few NFTs. And then it's like, oh, I know about the space. I've been in here. It wasn't about, me and a quick flip. Like I really, really rock with some of these people in here. And now this is the project that I'm doing. And so to me, that was like one of my favorite larger, we'll say clouded up artists getting into the space because they were already here. They didn't worry about, they came in just as a person, as a collector, as someone that was looking at these stories and finding ways to support and, financially reward the creators and artists that they believed in.
Yeah, I'd say them and Snoop, like top tier, did it right. Andy Milonakis did it middle ground. He came in, he bought a few things, started dropping pretty quickly. That's a middle ground. And then, yeah, I mean, Doja Cat, Tory Lanez, basic Coca Cola, any any of those bigger guys, they for the most part did it wrong. You definitely you have to come in. You don't have to like hide who you are. You can. It'll help you be chill, but yeah, you definitely have to just put a little bit in. Put a little bit in. Or really, I think it really just comes down to if you make a shit ton of money, put some back into the community. We have creators on Tezos, like we give them shit. Like I mean, I'll say with Mike Shinoda, he's a Lincoln Park. He's a really talented artist, but people question like what he's doing for the network. Like besides maybe onboarding some collectors, like he doesn't really do much besides sell, sell, sell. Same with John, the dude who makes the skeletons and stuff. He just sells a ton. They don't really do much else besides that. And I mean, I don't buy their work because it doesn't make me any money and it doesn't bring me joy. So, two misses. But again, they're talented artists too. It's just like, but what have you done for the network? I like to see artists who give back, like Zaf God and Paper Buddha are two like pretty top notch artists, and like their collections are huge. Tan is an up and coming fantastic artist. Huge collections. Like they don't even really resell. I know Zaf and Tan like they don't resell shit. They're crazy diamond handed. So we like to see that from our large creators. You'll see me. I mean, I have a pretty stacked collection. I've acquired pieces from over 1,000 pieces by now, and from over 400 different artists. Really dipping my hands in there, you know. And yeah, again, that's what we really like to see from like our creators is that they at least are putting back into the ecosystem and supporting as well.
Yo, man, that was a mic drop type of moment right there. You outlined the, I'll say ideal, but one of the realest ways to contribute and be a part of this community. And when people talk about that quote unquote word community, what it stands for and what they want out of it, you're exemplifying that. I'm so hyped that you came on. This has been a learning experience for me. I do want to touch on
Thanks,
one thing
man.
before I get to our closeout. Oh yeah, for sure, G. Your Discord. What is your stance for someone that's so active, that's constantly networking, constantly reaching out, and releasing your own content? How do you feel about Discord?
Um, it's pretty necessary. I mean, the bigger you get as an artist, the more people you follow, the more people that follow you and interact with you, the more cluttered your feed gets, your DMs get more cluttered. Discord is a good way to cut through the noise and just be like, hey, if you legitimately are about it, be here. This is where you can get my attention for sure. Like this is where I show extra love. I think it's super necessary. I think it's a great way to collect all of your collectors, ironically, and have them together so that they can honestly plot and scheme. Like, here's one thing about collectors. They're awesome, and April is Collector Appreciation Month. By the way, I'm starting that. I don't know if it's going to catch on, but for me, it is. Um, but collectors, honestly, most of the time don't do enough to push these resales that they're so-called looking for. They'll be like, oh, well, this piece won't resell. It's like, well, how hard have you tried reselling it? They're like, well, I listed it. Okay, like you didn't try reselling it. You just listed it. Like you didn't post it anywhere. You didn't let anybody know. Like you just so yeah, I wanted to throw that out there. Collectors, you got to do more to push those secondary sales if you're really about secondary sales, because we can only do so much as creators. We're busy creating, we're busy connecting, talking. Like it's hard to push those. So we need collectors' help.
Yo, man, that's actually an amazing point because I had written this article. I call it The Renaissance of the Cultural Investor, where for me, branding is really, really important. And I love that you're making April Collectors Month where you're still, getting terminology that people can stick with and kind of unite behind. But when I had thought of this cultural investor ideas, when I first heard of NFTs back in February of last year, and I realized that, like, yo, these angel investors in tech spend money and they'll buy into companies and then do a lot to support those companies. They'll provide mentorship, they'll provide access to networks, they'll provide resources along with their funding. So that way their investment continues to grow. And I realized that Web3 was going to allow people to do that at a much smaller scale and help out, non tech companies, where it's like you as an artist now have these people that are collectors, or as I would say, investors in the culture that you're creating. And they now become part of your marketing team, where it's like, yo, if you bought into me now and helped me make this content here, and then you go and share that with your network and you're on the front lines constantly promoting what it is that we're doing, this in a way is a job for you. It's a way for you to make good on your investment, to support me and what I'm creating, and to create oh yeah, I said it, a way for you to make good on your investment, which is really at the front of it if you treat it as a job. So it's an idea I want to keep exploring and really want to keep pushing because, to your point, buying something and then listing it is not enough. But if you are actually a collector that's looking for a resale and you treat that resale as a job, you buy into a community early, you believe in it, you get other people to believe in it, you can make 5x, 10x, 1,000x on your investment. Somebody posted the numbers from if you would have bought a Bored Ape at Mint to what the current value would have been at Ape Coin Claim with a floor level mutant ape and kennel, and it was a $230 investment that would now, with all the rewards, be worth over $500,000. And take whatever your opinion on Bored Ape aside, look at what that how that community goes and champions what it is they're building. It's like, yo, it's cultish, and it works. It's gotten some of the biggest name brands and names in all traditional mediums to pay attention to what they're doing. Like, they were constantly hyping it up and creating that momentum. And that's how you get the quote unquote next Bored Ape. Is you're not buying into it solely for this quick flip. These people were buying into it because they believed in whatever it was, and they liked the branding and whatever. They liked the art. And again, opinions aside, that type of ish works. This is a 10-figure brand now in 10 months. I can't even fathom that. Like, that is honestly insane. And when I was thinking that the space would be huge, I'm thinking, maybe something like this happens in 2024, not in the same year that I envisioned it. So, Web3 is rocket fuel for your brand building if you can actually unite these people around common causes. And there's 30,000 items in the Bored Ape ecosystem, and there's not 30,000 unique owners. There's millions of people to get onboarded onto NFTs. That's not going to be the only community that flourishes. And so I went on a bit of a tangent there, but I really, really rock with what you were saying. I know my initial question was about Discord. I love hearing people's
Must
opinions on
have.
it. Yeah, I'm so my personal take is I'm still a little torn just because I think it's hard to maintain multiple, like, to be an active member in multiple communities. But when you find that small group that you do want to be a part of, Discord is essential, and it's the best that we have. There is
Well,
no
and you
better
got to
alternative.
remember that there are a ton of serious collectors using Discord. They're already there. Like, they're already on it. So it's not like they have to go and create Discord. Like, you could really go Discord hopping and just, vibe in a Discord for a week, a month, find a couple of people to come back to yours, just go you find your collectors. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of work. I do this 24/7, so it's a lot of grinding, a lot of talking, a lot of messaging, a lot of buying and selling. That's the name of the game. So buy it and then sell it, and that way the artist makes money twice.
Jburn, you have dropped gems today, man. I really appreciate you coming through. Before I end every Money Trees, I like to ask the guests two questions. My first question is, what's your seed phrase? And I know it's normally your account recovery key. I will keep saying this until it falls out of favor, but seed phrase should not be the term we use for account recovery key. For someone that's new to the space, seed phrase does not sound like something I absolutely have to protect. And you absolutely must protect your account recovery key. People get scammed every single day.
Keep
If
your
you're
password safe.
password, like, shit, just go back to calling it a password. A seed phrase is like, all right, whatever, like, sounds like my damn fancy username. So on Money Trees, I like to repurpose the term seed phrase because we're planting seeds, planting ideas on this show, and we'll look back on these episodes and see how far these guests have come and what they have built in this space. You've planted some really ill seeds here today, and we've talked about many of the things that you're currently working on in your approach to the space. So your seed phrase would be your saying, quote, motto, lyric, slogan that you live by, that embodies your approach to your art, to your craft, and to
Stay free.
Web3. So, so Jburn, what is your seed phrase?
It's stay free.
Stay free. I love it.
Yep.
It's simple, and we got it. My second question to you is going to be, what is the price of the one of one Money Trees number 33 Jburn note going to be listed on Zora for?
Oh, we got number 33.
Number
Maybe we can
33,
get
stay free.
threesomes to buy. All right, put it at 0.333.
0.333.
Yeah, I'm
Seed
gonna tell
phrase
threesomes
stay
about it.
free on number 33. I love it. Yo, man, again, really appreciate you stopping by. This has been a fire conversation. Got me charged to start my week. A little bit of homework for me to go check up on some of the collectors and artists you've mentioned in the Tez ecosystem. I need to jump in your Discord once I get off of here and just want to keep it all pushing. I'm very excited to see what you build, excited to watch other people. Like you said, they could potentially replicate the micro album. I think you did a one of one experience that will help pave the way for other ways, but I don't know if they'll be able to capture the same energy you put together on yours, man. I'm rooting for you, excited to see where it goes, and yeah, I'm glad we got to chop it up.
I appreciate it a ton. Yeah, and if anybody needs help collecting on Tezos, join the Discord. You can find it link in bio, or you'll find it. And then, yeah, I'll point you in the direction of some gems, up and coming artists that are obviously gonna make it. And you know what happens when your favorite artist makes it? You do too. It's beautiful. Um, but yeah, appreciate you having me. Everybody, stay free.
That's a bar. Stay free, number 33. I love the rhyme. See, that's why you gotta bring the lyricist on here because they keep it together. Even I don't think that was on purpose. He didn't mean to rhyme the seed phrase and the price. It just worked out that way. It's beautiful. I'm going on a tangent again. We're out of here. Jburn, you're incredible, my G.